Please remain standing for the posting of the colors and national anthems.
Thank you, Allison and Haley. Welcome, distinguished guests, parents, families, friends, faculty, and staff. It is our great pleasure to have each of you here to share in success of Osan American High School's class of 2014. We would like to specifically recognize the special guests that are participating in tonight's ceremony. Please rise as I call your names. The Superintendent of DoDEA Korea, Dr. Irby Miller. The Assistant Superintendent of DoDEA Korea, Dr. Judith Allen. The Principal of Osan American High School, Mr. Morgan Nugent. Our Senior Class Advisor, Mr. Silva. And our guest speaker, Brigadier General Russell L. Mack. Now, Mr. Morgan Nugent, the Osan American High School principal, will introduce this year's Salutatorian.
Thank you, Christine. It's with great pride that I have the opportunity to introduce this year's Salutatorian. Graduating with a GPA of 3.89, Christine Martinez, who is just up here, will be asked to come back up here shortly. Christine was born in Seoul, South Korea, and has been living in Korea ever since. She's taken 4 advanced placement courses and 4 honor courses at the same during her time here at Osan. Throughout high school, she's joined various school extracurricular activities from sports such as volleyball, soccer, and tennis. Other organizations that she's also belonged to includes the National Honor Society, Key Club, and 4 years of Air Force Junior ROTC. Additionally, she's risen to leadership positions as a senior class president, NHS secretary, tennis captain, and also the Air Force Junior ROTC Corps commander. Now she's decided to attend the University of Arizona and plans to major in engineering. Please give a round of applause to Christina Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Hello again. I wasn't sure how to start off my speech, let alone I didn't expect to give a salutatory address. I actually found out a few days ago that I was even going to be salutatorian. Not to mention, I wrote this as a true senior by waiting until the very last minute. Senioritis at its finest. I also didn't exactly know what a salutatorian was, or even what a salutatorian was supposed to address at graduation. Honestly, I didn't even know how to spell salutatorian. And let's face it, you don't really want to listen to me. You just really want to listen to the valedictorian speech. It's okay, I understand. I mean, he's a great guy. But either way, I thought I should put some effort into the speech of mine, which to me seemed more like a homework assignment than that I wasn't even going to be graded for. Anyways, after many head-throbbing moments of aimlessly staring at my blank computer screen, I decided to do what I usually do when I encounter a problem. I looked it up online. I searched and listened to dozens of different speeches and realized how difficult it was to try to say something that would keep the audience interested for the 3 to 5 minutes that I'll be speaking up here about myself, and also have a meaningful message at the end. After a while, I pretty much gave up and decided to just look up the definition of salutatorian, thinking that maybe it would make my life a bit easier by giving me a starting point. So I went on one of my very trusted websites, urbandictionary.com, and according to urbandictionary.com, the definition of salutatorian read, the person who just missed being valedictorian by a few GPA points. A very miserable person indeed. Second place is just the first loser. Now, doesn't that just make you want to write a speech? It most definitely made me want to write a speech, but oddly enough, this actually got me thinking. I am the person who just missed being first place, and which led me to reflect upon my journey in high school and all the obstacles I had to overcome in order to stand here before you today. So I thought, what ultimately leads to success? And in order to understand what makes a person successful, I believe you must first define the word success. When I hear the word success, I immediately envision a ladder that one must climb in order to reach his or her main objective. However, this ladder is different from your ordinary ladder. It's missing a few steps here and there. Some gaps between these steps are wider than others. Some steps are weaker than others, causing the person climbing this ladder to fall at times. But once you reach the top of this ladder, you have reached your ultimate goal, success. Although I've only lived for 18 short years, at many times in my life, I wanted to give up, and I would always share my dilemmas with my mother. One time my junior year, I was extremely stressed and quite burned out. So I told my mom that I just couldn't handle it anymore. small fraction in your life that will seem like a mere speck of dust in the future. Something an ordinary mother would say to try and comfort her troubled child. Instead, she said to me, "If you want to give up, give up." Now, initially I was quite shocked. I didn't know how to respond. My own mother told me to give up. Now, how many people can actually say that their own parent told them to give up on what they had worked on for many, many years? But there was a method behind her madness. Yes, I figured it out. Reverse psychology. I think. I hope so, at least. I didn't know it at first, but honestly, I don't think she knew it either. I think she just kind of threw it out there. After she told me to give up, this gave me the ambition to try harder, to strive for the better. But if you do see me in the future in Korea as like an ESL teacher, you can pretty much come to the conclusion that I gave up on engineering. But in all seriousness, I learned that if there's something in life that you want to achieve, never give up. Frankly, it hasn't hit me yet that today is the day of our graduation, where all of us will be going through different challenges and obstacles in our lives, climbing higher and higher to reach our ultimate goal. In my head, I still feel as if we'll go to school the next day, seeing all my peers, wondering what I'll be having for lunch. But in reality, it's all over. This chapter in our life is complete. But every end marks a new beginning. Some of us will join the military, some are still unsure of what we want to do with our lives, and many of us are going off to college for a higher education. It's funny how you spend your entire life trying to do your best at everything, and yet colleges only look at the 4 years and as if your life before freshman year didn't even matter. You're practically 4 years old in the eyes of every college. However, despite how we got here, all I have to say is, class of 2014, we made it. Through thick and thin, we made it. Personally, I would not have made it to this point in my life without my loving parents, who have sacrificed so much for me. Wise mentors, such as this year's senior class sponsor, Mr. Silva. You have taught me for 4 years, all of my high school, and I would like to think that maybe I've learned a few things in your class until now. And I would like to thank all my close friends for putting up with me and helping me through my rough times. And finally, I would like to give thanks to the members of the audience, yes, you all, for listening to my awfully long speech on myself. Now, my time is almost up, and it's time for the speech you've all been waiting for. But before I leave, I would like to leave you with a very cliche quote, because let's face it, what's a graduation speech without a cliche quote at the end? A quote from an unknown author that I can truly relate to. If at first you don't succeed, do what your mother told you, because mother knows best. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. That was a great speech. It's now my honor to introduce our valedictorian, Jake Razow, who's graduated with a 4.13 GPA. Jake was born in Greenville, South Carolina. Since then, he has moved 7 times and still maintained that GPA of 4.13. He's completed 4 advanced placement courses and 4 honors courses. He's enthusiastically served in and risen to leadership roles of numerous teams and organizations. His co-curricular accomplishments also include 3 years as varsity cross-country player, 1 year as varsity soccer, 1 year of varsity tennis, 3 years of varsity baseball, and also 1 as a co-captain. Furthermore, he's also the senior class vice president, and the president of the National Honor Society. Jake plans on attending Goucher College to major in biology. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Christine. Every speech is not complete without a sports cliche. So here's mine. In baseball, my favorite sport, the difference between excellence and mediocrity is minute. As a coach of mine says, The difference between a base hit and an out is 1/8 of an inch. The same goes for the top 8th of the graduating class. It's the academic equivalent of 1/8 of an inch between us. It could be any one of them up here talking instead of me. Actually, I'd rather be one of them. Because public speaking is not something I enjoy. The only difference is just a couple of points on the test here or there, or a missed homework assignment or two. But it's not. Unbelievably to myself, it's me. Two of OAHS's previous valedictorians of the past 3 years are now attending MIT and Johns Hopkins. And then there's me, headed to Goucher. I hadn't even heard of it until this year, and when I did, I thought it was named after a lesser-known Marx brother. Now, I'm going to be a Goucher Gopher. Not exactly the fiercest of mascots or the most prestigious of schools, but in all seriousness, here I am, and I'm proud of my achievements. And to be here in front of you, my friends, my teammates, and my OAHS family at this very moment. Unquestionably, my greatest achievement is having earned the pride of my mother and father. Mom, Dad, I love you. Among my mother's talents and interests is an enthusiasm for poetry. She recites poetry she enjoys at a whim. Most of the time, I'd rather she read chapters from Game of Thrones instead. However, recently she read to me a portion from Walt Whitman's A Child Went Forth. My dormant appreciation for poetry was revealed. The first stanza of the poem struck me as being particularly applicable to this graduating class. There was a child went forth every day, and the first object he looked upon, that object he became. And that object became a part of him for the day, or a certain part of the day, or for many years, or stretching cycles of years. Just like that child, every experience that we have had as OAHS's class of 2014 has become a part of us. Everything we have seen, we have taken into us, and we will use it later on in life. The many unique struggles and experiences we've had in Korea will forever be a part of us, much like the child in Walt Whitman's poem. For instance, earlier this year, there was a widespread obsession with the game Flappy Bird. For those of you who don't know, Flappy Bird has been described by CNET as mankind's descent into madness. It's probably the most difficult game I've ever played. Of the many fads that swept through Osan this year, Flappy Bird had the tightest grip on the student population. It took over the school for a solid week. If you looked around at the lunchroom, you could see the pure seething rage that Flappy Bird induces. A high score of 101 remains one of my most noteworthy achievements. All of the hours we seemingly wasted on an impossible game are now a part of us. What we did not realize at the time is that they taught us patience. Speaking of unpleasantness, anyone that lives within a 5-mile radius of the base is familiar with the soothing sounds of the exercise sirens. When I moved to Osan, the first time I heard the sirens, I thought that North Korea was attacking. I woke up from my sleep and freaked out. Now, after 3 years in Osan, I almost completely ignore it. What was once intimidating is now nothing to fear. As time has passed, I have experienced exercises, alarms, and sirens, and it does nothing to me now. We experienced the sirens, they became a part of us, and now they no longer alarm us. Some people I truly admire manage to exemplify the idea of experiencing the world and taking it into themselves. My best friend Andrew Lowe, for example. Drew has long held a deep love for the gym. Waking up at 4 a.m. every day and to go work out is not something many people enjoy, but Drew has told me many times that it's the best part of his day. To continue his passion for the movement of the human body, Drew is going to study kinesiology. He's going to take kinesiology into himself, and he's going to make it a part of himself. Another person who exemplifies taking something she loves into herself is Allison Harlfinger. Allison loves music more than anyone else I know. She tries to practice and appreciate music whenever she can. She demonstrated this love just a little while ago in singing the national anthem for this ceremony. She plans to study music theory in college, and in doing so, she'll make music a greater part of herself. She's going to take it into herself and bring it everywhere in her life, just like the boy in Whitman's poem. Finally, my close friend these past 3 years, Christine Martinez. She helped drag me to the finish line in the most difficult class of my life, A-Push, or AP US History. By the way, Thanks, Mr. Stilbaugh. We have worked together on many different things, from just studying to making sure this graduation happened. Christine has always been good at math. However, she's about to make math a large part of her life soon. She plans to study civil engineering. She's going to take math into herself and apply it every day of her life, for a living. These individuals have chosen important things in their lives. They want to become a part of them. They're going to devote hours and hours to a career path that they think is best for themselves. Drew to kinesiology, Allison to music, and Christine to engineering. We all have this same choice to make, and all it takes is the proper motivation and a push out into the world. Many people push me forth into the world. They help me make things a part of myself. I would like to thank my family, especially my parents, for being the ones who first introduced me to the world and for teaching me how to make it a part of myself. Without them, I wouldn't be the man I am today. They have constantly pushed me to do my best, especially when I'm feeling lazy. The motivation they provided me is the biggest reason I'm here talking right now. Thank you to the students teachers for instructing me on what this world contains and how to survive in it. Your instruction will last me a lifetime. Finally, thanks to my fellow graduates who have inspired and assisted me along the way. Those many hours spent on Skype studying were instrumental to me being here right now. Tonight we conclude one chapter in our lives. However, there are many more chapters to go. It's important to keep experiencing new things throughout life. Without these new things, there's nothing new to take into yourself. It is impossible to grow as an individual without new experiences. Now go out and take your own experiences into yourself. Thank you.
It is now time to introduce our guest speaker, Brigadier General Russell L. Mack. General Russell Mack is the Vice Commander, 7th Air Forces Korea, and Chief of Staff, Air Component Command, Osan Air Base, South Korea. General Mack has staff experiences as military assistant to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, the Pentagon, Washington, D.C., and completed a National Defense Fellowship with the Weatherhead Center for International Affairs at Harvard University, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, General Mack.
All right. I'm old, so let me put my glasses on here. All right. Christine, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Jake, thanks for the kind words. And I hope, and we will, keep those sirens purely exercise. All right? That's our goal. No doubt. I got a lot of paperwork to get out here. But first, before I get started, how about another round of applause for Allison and Haley for the outstanding job they did with the national anthem. First, let me start by saying I am absolutely honored to be here to speak to you, the class of 2014, here this evening. I am truly humbled to share this special occasion with all of you. Believe it or not, several decades ago, yes, I am old, I was in a similar position to where you are now, waiting, indeed begging, for me to get off the stage so that we could commence with the graduation. So I promise I'll keep my remarks brief, very aware that I am the main obstacle between you and a quiet evening with your family and friends, reminiscing about your time here at Osan Air Base, or a big party, I'm not sure. But I'll be honest with you, I don't remember my graduation, but I do remember the party. It was a good time. But actually, before I address the graduates, I do want to say thank you to a very special set of folks who made this evening's graduation a reality. First, to the parents of these graduates. You serve your country here in various capacities, military and civilian. But most importantly, tonight, you're all proud parents. I know that moving your family to another country and culture can be challenging. I know I've also done it several times. The many long days and nights at work compete with the time you would rather spend with your graduating senior. The dual role of parent and public servant is not an easy one. So to the parents, thank you for all that you do, and we are very grateful for the sacrifices that you have made for your country. about a round of applause for our parents? I'd also like to say a few words to the teachers, faculty, and staff of Osan American High School. Much of what I've accomplished traced back to my high school teachers whose names and faces I can still remember. Like my math teacher, Mr. Bucky Main, also my baseball coach, and my science teacher, Mr. Pat O'Reilly, who was also our football coach, who to this day I actually keep in touch with, and who taught for almost 50 years. They taught me, and they opened my eyes to the world and to the life of the mind. They were role models of decency and character. I only hope that half a century from now, these graduates will look back on their time here with such fond memories, and above all, remember the role you teachers played in their lives. So graduates, how about another round of applause for the faculty and the administrators of Osan. And to the Osan Air Base community, the saying, "It takes a village," rings true when it comes to military families, especially those far from home. Everyone does their part, and no one should be taken for granted. From its humble origins, this base has grown and evolved over the years. And I can attest to that because 17 years ago, I was here as a young A-10 fighter pilot. And trust me, I didn't recognize the place when I got here a year ago. I suspect that this growth is in part due to the strong and enduring bonds between this school and the community, and between the United States and the Republic of Korea. So I want to say thank you to the Osan community and to our Korean friends for your support of these graduates and their families. And finally, to the class of 2014. First, congratulations. The challenges associated with being the child of a military or foreign service member are considerable. Most of your parents have been gone over long periods throughout your lifetime. Many of you have moved multiple times, seen new faces, new curriculums, new teachers, and new friends. None of this is easy. I know because my son Austin, now a junior at Baylor University, attended 4 different high schools growing up. And although it was challenging for him at times, he recently mentioned that he would never change the experience for anything in the world. So class 2014, I truly commend you for taking on these challenges in your short lifetime. You have all shown that you are a truly remarkable bunch. Congratulations. Of the 36 graduates here today, around 75% of you will be going off to college or joining the military. You have all come to represent Osan American High School as model citizens in this diverse society. For this and for everything else you have and will accomplish, I once again congratulate you. So now what I would like to do for just about 5 minutes, and I promise I'll keep this short, I'd like to share some of the experiences and lessons I have learned over the years, and that's a lot of years. And I hope that these will be useful to you and help you transition into adulthood as you go on to bigger and better things. In my 26 years in the military, I've learned a few things about service, and I've learned a few things about leadership. Many of you probably already have found a few opportunities, even at your young stage in life, to exercise leadership in different ways. In athletics, extracurricular activities, student government, your church, or wherever you happen to have a part-time job. These opportunities have placed you in a position to show responsibility or influence others. Above all, you are fortunate to have parents who, in carrying out their duties, provide sterling examples of leadership and service on a daily basis. And for the graduates, today I have 3 challenges for you. First, I challenge you that whatever you happen to do in the future, to continue a lifelong pursuit of learning. A high school education has provided you with an invaluable foundation to build upon. High school changed the breadth and depth of your knowledge and taught you how to think. When I graduated from Keene High School in Keene, New Hampshire, 34 years ago, the world was a different place. And since then, I've encountered a world that I did not expect when I graduated that day. However, because of the education I received in high school and college, I was able to continue my dream to become a fighter pilot in the United States Air Force. It is critical for you to continue developing yourself through learning. This will prepare you for complex challenges in a changing world and ensure you stay relevant as you move forward in life. I believe education is a career-long endeavor and a component of any profession. Henry Ford, You guys know who that is? There we go, up and down. Henry Ford captured the importance of continuing to learn when he said, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. And anyone who keeps learning stays young. The greatest thing in life is to keep your mind young." So remember that. The second challenge I have for you is to not just be good, but to be your best on the worst of days. The diploma you're going to leave here with tonight will not make you successful, but it will arm you to better take on the challenges of life. As a graduate, you will likely be afforded new opportunities that come with greater responsibilities and challenges. Let me tell you, it's easy to be good. It's easy to be great when times are good. But your goal is to be your best when confronted with the hardest challenges on the worst of days. One has to accept the fact that on the road to maturity and responsibility, there are certain things you just have to do in life, period. And nobody cares if you want to do them, and nobody cares if you're having fun doing them, and if you think they're even worth doing. But really what matters the most is the job gets done, and it gets done well. I suspect some of the assignments you've had right here at Osan have already instilled the glimmering of that idea. Internalizing it and accepting it will get you a long way. Not that there's anything wrong with having fun. I'd say take everything you can't get, short of bankruptcy or prison, please. But we are awash in a culture that sends the message, if it isn't fun, why should we do it? Well, I'll tell you what, you should do it, and it should bother you. This is when your country, the company you work for, and your family and friends will need you the most. How you perform at that point in time will determine your success. Through learning, innovation, perseverance, and preparation, you will succeed on very tough days. Which brings me to my third and final challenge. Always do the right thing. Pretty simple words. Childhood words, really, and you've probably heard them 1,000 times growing up. Probably a few times right here at Osan American High School. But it's still valuable today. Always do the right thing. Do the right thing by setting your own internal standards of excellence, your own internal standards of behavior, and making sure that you meet them and exceed them every day. Do the right thing, even when you don't get credit for it. Do the right thing when no one's watching, or will ever even know about it. The bottom line is, you're going to know about it. In my profession, character is perhaps the most important trait we seek and expect in our leaders. Character inspires trust in others. Character gives confidence to others to follow you into the darkest nights. Character keeps you pointed towards true north, no matter what winds try to blow you and push you off course into the shoals of doubt, dishonesty, and despair. Your character will always press you to do the right thing. So after you graduate here tonight, the door to opportunity opens for you to serve and to lead. So take advantage of it. Seize the moment. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go off script for half a second here, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up. All right, and I want you to look around at your fellow graduates. Okay, now I want you to look out at this wonderful audience that's right out here in front of us. And I want you to take it all in, because this is probably the last time you will be together as the class of 2014. This is what you're going to remember about today. Probably not about Osan American High School or Osan Air Base, or the fact that Russ Mack is actually up here talking to you. I don't remember who spoke at my graduation. But really, what it's all about is the family, friends, and faculty that got you to this day. So remember it, cherish it, value it, because 34 years later, you may too be right here at this podium. So congratulations. Go ahead and have a seat. We are all very, very proud of you. And no matter what life throws at you, always strive to make a difference, both personally and professionally. And I can guarantee you that with a little ambition, determination, dedication, and good old-fashioned hard work, you can and will make a difference. It has been an absolute honor to speak to the class of 2014. Congratulations to each and every one of you. We wish you the best in your next endeavor. We know that you have bigger and better things in store for the future. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, General Mag. We appreciate your inspiring words and making the effort here tonight. At Osan, on the day of our commencement, we have a tradition of giving our parents a single rose, which symbolizes our lives that are now in full bloom thanks to the love and support of our families. Graduates, please rise to present your rose to your parents. Guys, one more. Seniors, you may now be seated. Now, I would like to turn the ceremony over to our principal, Mr. Nugent.
I actually know why you're clapping. It's not for me, it's that you know we're that much closer to actually doing what we're supposed to up here and handing out the diplomas. And this is that moment, folks. It's time to present the individual diplomas to our graduating seniors. Pretty exciting, isn't it? As the official representative of the Department of Defense Dependent Schools, I have reviewed each and every one of the transcripts. I here certify that the following students have met all the established requirements for graduation. Also want to go ahead and recognize that Dr. Brady, our director, Linda Curtis, our area director, and also Dr. Irby Miller, our superintendent within Korea, all want to express their gratitude and thanks and congratulate the seniors of 2014. Graduates, stand to be recognized.
Tyler Asher. Allison Ascension.
Congratulations, man.
Evie Baisden. Antoine Basham. Corey Beadle. Ashley Becker. Kevin Brace. Jacob Brazo. Ryan Brazil. Zoe Brown. Stephen Costo. Sarah DeWitt. Deontay Dowdell. Yvette Garrido. Stephen Pollock. Xavier Hallman. Allison Harlfinger. Max Johnson. Hannah Kim. Jisoo Kim. Tyler Costro. Andrew Lowe. Bethany Mabry. Christine Martinez. Alec Myers. Rachel Paladin. Andrew Rollins. Summer Rowe. Mighty Seiko. John Shendel. Yuman C. Tanner Smith. Haley Tarbox. Justin Tatum. Alexis Thornton. Jonathan Wong.
Congratulations, Jonathan. Thank you.
Class of 2014, please rise. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. In a few moments, all of you will begin another chapter of your lives. On behalf of the Department of Defense's Education Activity and its Director, Mr. Thomas Brady, Department of Defense Schools Civic Area and its Director, Dr. Linda Curtis, and Dr. Miller and its Superintendent, I have reviewed and certified your official transcripts, and now I have the honor and privilege to announce that you are members of the class of 2014, and you are now graduates of Osan American High School. I will not call you seniors. I will now call you graduates. You may now move your tassels from the right side to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2014 graduates of Osan American High School. I will sing for you here shortly. There we go.